Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to be doing our daily technical analysis update of commodities. I'm going to jump in here, go over the dollar, yields, precious metals, and eventually into commodities that I follow. And again, if you guys need any help with anything, and I do think that we're getting close to some fireworks here in the markets, but if you need anything, check out finding-value.com, the platinum membership. Use the word discount in the coupon code to get a discount. We do have a platinum members question and answer session Saturday, which is tomorrow, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I'm going to dive in here, guys. I'm going to give you my financial opinion. Things are looking quite good in my opinion, and we could be, fingers crossed, at the beginning of potentially a big move. So I'll show you what I'm seeing. I'll show you guys what's going on, and we'll dive in here right now. So we've got the dollar here, the DXY. That's what we normally start with. What do we have? We've got the Batman pattern. That is generally a topping pattern. We had a little bit of a move higher, but it looks like that's kind of a fake out, and we've been heading lower in the dollar or DXY. Last time we saw this, if we were to kind of back out real quick, is we saw this in 2002 where we peaked out and headed lower in the dollar. Is that the same kind of time frame that we've got going on today? I think it is. I think it is. Now, yeah, people can debate that. They can debate it and say I'm wrong, whatever. That's where I think we're at. I think that's kind of where we are in relationship to how the markets pulled back last bull market from 1999 all the way till 2002. That's basically the bottom of 2020, which is 2020 somewhere in this range. So we came back up like that. We peaked and we're heading lower. So I do think that these are lining up quite well in that type of market of where we are in the markets. I also think that it aligns very well with the housing starts and the housing market. And I know people are very bearish on the housing market, but I also think that's the entire reason that interest rates are as high as they are, is because they're trying to slow down the housing market. And they've been successful at slowing the housing market down. The question is, how sustaining is it of them being able to slow it down? And will it slow it down? Is the market just going through an adjustment? That is something I don't know the answer to, but it is of my opinion that we are short homes, that we have a larger demographic coming into home buying years, and that pressure will persist irrespective of anything. There's going to be more people wanting to buy new homes or more homes just in general. So I do think that this lines up very well. And I also think that's why the Federal Reserve talks about leaving interest rates at a pretty high level to see how that all works out. Could there be some fallout in the short term? That very well could be possible. But that's kind of what I'm seeing in the dollars, is basically these two tops, and maybe this is the Batman pattern on a larger, bigger picture view. I'm not too sure of that, but it very well could be. So looking at the 10-year yield, the 10-year yield is rocketing higher, up 2.56%. And if we were going into this deflationary crash, wouldn't we be diving in yields? Now, it doesn't mean that the yields can't dive down. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we are seeing some resiliency in, we'll call it the yields, even in the face of declining inflation in terms of the inflation rates. So declining rates of inflation. And we're going to see if this goes and does another run higher. I do think that there's imbalances in the oil market, and I think oil is a good translator of inflation into the consumer price index. Another portion is the housing market, and that has slowed down. And I want to see if we get another run in this thing or not. So the 10-year yield is higher today. It is still somewhat in this downtrend as of right now. Bond prices go inverse. Is this kind of like a double top where we're going to head lower and yields go higher? Maybe. I'm not going to say that that's 100% for sure, but it looks like it, and we'll see what happens. The 30-year yield also heading higher. This has not broken out. It's still moving around here, and we haven't made a new low. So we'll see where we go. We're just chopping sideways at this moment. Are we going to have something where we come up like this, come down and break lower? It's possible. And we're going to have to wait and see where this thing scribes out. And then the TYX to TNX ratio, slightly lower. Generally, that moves with oil. So when oil goes up, this ratio, well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. The oil markets are kind of separate than this, but generally, when this goes higher, gold goes higher with it. The CRB index is heading on higher. This does look like a breakout. It's done a full retest down here. So we had a breakout there, full retest, basically past the retest. We went back into the pattern. We've broken to the upside. We're above that strong resistance support level. Well, I should say support resistance level. We're just above that strong resistance support level, and I think that we are going to work our way higher. This here is a big deal. It's not just a breakout. It's a breakout for the CRB index, and we could see much higher prices. CRB to S&P 500 ratio, this could even drop lower while commodities go higher. And certain commodities could vastly outpace the S&P 500. But I do think that we could come into a scenario where all of these things go higher together. Commodities and stocks for a period of time. I've said that before. Sometimes they'll be disconnected. Sometimes they're going to be connected. I do think that we could be reaching a time where everything will connect up and certain sectors will just go up at faster paces. It doesn't mean that the technology sector could go up. It depends on what interest rates do, in my opinion. But that's something we can watch for and we can monitor. Gold slightly lower. But looking at gold and the pattern it's making, it's just doing another bloody nose, which is a stair-stepping pattern to the upside. Much like this one here. That's a continuation pattern higher. Boom, we came up yesterday, slightly lower down today, but that's just a bloody nose and a continuation higher, in my opinion. Silver is still basically squeezing up here, and I think we're going to get a break to the upside and a big old run out of silver. And then we've got platinum that's also bouncing off support, and we're up $14, surprisingly. A pretty volatile day today for platinum, but I do think that will go higher. This also paints a picture, guys. Gold, oil, I'll just say energy in general, lots of other commodities, copper, etc. They all went up together during the certain portion of the bull market last time. That was kind of like the second stage. The first stage, they kind of broke out in different times. And then everything kind of linked up during the second stage, and it also went up with the stock market for periods of time under the last mid-2000s commodity bull market. I think that's where we are. Obviously, I don't know for sure, but it seems like and feels like that is where we're at. Looking at the XEU to gold ratio, that's also heading higher. This thing's been drifting higher. And you can see the lows in here. You can see that all just coming up. So I do think that there is a possibility here where you kind of look at a big picture view, and we could be breaking this line at some point and getting a big old run. And what this is tying to is inflation kind of coming back to America. And we've heard other countries, the euro and some of these other ones, where they're going to be very tight. They're going to tighten their monetary policy. When they tighten, and we're already tight, that is dollar weakness, and that is also a time where we could see all of these assets run up together. So I think that could be coming here very soon. We're starting to see breakouts of lots of patterns like the CRB index, and I'll show you what else I'm seeing. And this is also looking positive, where we could gather some momentum and start to break out. We've got higher lows coming up, and we could be at the precipice of a big move in a lot of different sectors. GDX also looking quite tasty here. I think it looks real strong. Nice strong finish today, and hopefully that momentum can continue. And we've been basically grinding through this resistance area, and we've broken up above that resistance area where we could really start to run. Gold's looking strong. Precious metals look strong in general. I don't see why the gold and silver miners won't do some crazy stuff here. SILJ is also looking quite strong. We're up 1.15%, and we're right on support. Silver lags a little bit behind gold, but I do think this looks stronger. It's finishing strong today, so it looks pretty good. Crude oil also finishing strong here, and we're breaking out of this pattern to the upside. All those guys that are deflationists, I don't relate with them, I guess, very well. I've been in the supply-demand imbalance. I've been in the inflation camp with consumer price index, and I do think this is going to run higher. The physical tightness in the markets has not been well. I'll say some of us know that it's coming. Others do not think that will happen. They think that the demand will be destroyed and that supply problems are not great enough for the demand destruction. I think they have it entirely wrong. My opinion is that the demand will not go down very much, if any, and supply is going to get decimated or is not there. We're going higher, in my opinion, over the next 4 or 5 years. Now, I don't know the path. Could this thing come and go all over the place? Yeah, I can do whatever. But over the next couple of years, this is going to go much, much higher. And we just broke out to the upside for crude oil. So this is signaling potentially another bull market coming here at any second. Natural gas, this volatile mix, the weather has pushed this thing lower in Europe and in America. And I will say that I'm surprised at how low this has gotten. But in my opinion, this is an opportunity, a very big opportunity for natural gas investors looking for when this bottoms. I think we're going to get a big old reverse higher. So I'm still looking at opportunities in natural gas. I still think it's a great area to be looking. XOP, yeah, you know me. This is the oil and gas exploration companies. Good, strong day today, even with natural gas being down. I know crude oil was up, but good, strong day. Downtrend broken. Still looks good to go higher and grind higher. OIH is also looking very strong. We're at that support level. Let's back out. There's that kind of resistance support level that we're at. This looks very much bullish on this move higher here, where we're going to break and move on higher in energy service companies. Oil is also supporting a move higher, so I don't see why all of these wouldn't go higher. The Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, we're just moving sideways on that action there. Lots of buying and selling going on in this general vicinity with buyers and sellers slapping each other in the face back and forth. Now, when we look at URNM, this thing looks fantastic, guys. I mean, wow, 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 wow. So let me kind of break this down here. We had this nice little squeeze up. Then we had this false bearish pattern that developed, the candlestick pattern here, where I was like, wait a minute, we might get a bigger pullback. The buyers stepped in and reversed it hard. And here we are coming on up, full steam ahead with a strong finish. URNM's got a lot of momentum here. This is what I consider to be the Green Army is showing up. The buyers are showing up, and the Green Army is starting to show up here with these big green candlesticks. It means that the buying pressure is starting to outweigh the selling pressure. That is what I'm seeing. Now, can we break out of this clear right off the bat? It's all entirely possible. I'm not stating that that's necessarily going to happen. What I am saying is it could happen, and we could see a break and a run here. We're getting closer and closer to that resistance line. We do have some resistance looking to the left. If we kind of draw back here, we've got some resistance all through this area. So we may or may not break out of this thing immediately, but I can tell you we're getting close, guys. We are getting close, and the way that I view it is you got to be looking for positioning before the breakout, because some of the companies have already broken out, others are lagging behind, and we can talk about that during the Platinum membership tomorrow. I can show you the opportunities, and a lot of you guys who are part of the membership know those opportunities. TAN is also strengthening up today. I still don't like this big selling pressure move there. I am not really playing much money in the solar companies, but it does look good from a long-term perspective to break and move higher. The COPX, copper companies, copper ETF. It's strong, guys. It is strong. And, you know, you've got this move here kind of shaping up like this. And we've got some good buying pressure here today with a strong close. We had a bullish piercing yesterday, which means we could continue and move higher. We did move higher, and we have a strong closing. Big picture view, we could start rolling here, guys, if it wants to. Now, again, I'm not here to say that that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying it's looking strong. Momentum's to the upside. It's getting exciting. That's good. Lithium is also looking good. We've gotten a lot more buying pressure today. It broke through that resistance, came back, hit support, and it's bouncing to the upside with a strong finish. So lithium stocks are looking quite strong, surprisingly. Rare earth metals also strengthening. So we're seeing the strength across the board. It's not just one sector. It's hitting basically everything. Take a big picture view. We're right on that support level. I think this looks like a good spot to be looking at rare earths. And I have looked at rare earths, trust me. The S&P 500, it is also firming up. I know there's a lot of people. Crash, 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 crash. It's all I see everywhere. That's great for YouTube viewership, but it doesn't make you any money. Bullish engulfing, bullish engulfing. We came up into this and squeezed up and broke to the downside. We held our ground here. Remember, momentum down, sideways, and then higher. I show this a lot on the website in our training sessions. Here we are with a nice strong day today. Now, it's not a reversal candlestick, but we are getting buying pressure coming in here and throwing down some fat buying pressure candlesticks. We could break out here. And again, we haven't broken out yet, but we're there. We're knocking on the door. We have good momentum. Can we break out of here and move? With lower yields, and I know yields have been up a little bit today, but if they continue to trend lower, I think that this market has a chance to really break and move. And that's what we're waiting to see. That's what we're waiting to see. And we haven't broken out yet, but we're waiting to see that. The NASDAQ also had a pretty strong day today, guys, up 2.66%. We're starting to work our way on top of this resistance trend line. So that is something to note. Also, the bullish engulfing, the bullish engulfing, the bullish engulfing, those all stack up to paint a picture. This is what I look for in bottoming patterns. Now, we basically came back and we made a higher low here. It didn't blow out to the downside. That's positive strength. That means that we didn't make a lower low. You know, when we look back here, high, low, high, low, you can see that we're kind of stepping down, but now this is a change. It's a change between a higher low. So let's see if we can get a little bit more momentum out of this and start moving higher. And I think we could see everything move higher together. It's a possibility. EEM, another one that looks fantastic. If you guys have been watching the channel, I've been talking about EEM and why I think this is a good spot down here. Now it's starting to move higher. That opportunity is slipping away out of your fingers if you haven't gotten in yet. Now, that's not advice. I'm just saying I take my positions. You can also look at this as an inverted head and shoulders. And we're seeing these inverted head and shoulders appear everywhere in the market. It's not just here. It's in home builders. It's in everything. And that's where I turned bullish on a lot of things. I should say I've been bullish the entire time. I'm bullish emerging markets even during this. Given the market conditions, it was just waiting on the dollar to turn. But the dollar's turning, and I do think that this is going to head higher. This is also confluence, where emerging markets go up and the dollar gets weaker. That's all confluence of information. It's all aligning to paint a picture of these markets. XHB, what's up with me? I like this here. Lead-in pattern, double bottom. We have a little bit of a resistance in this general area. We have support all underneath us. As weird as this sounds, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, This is a bullish engulfing for the most part. I think home builders are going to go higher. I think the housing market's strengthening. And I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised. Why is that? Because I think that we're in the middle of a construction cycle. I've done videos on it already. And I think that the underlying strength of the market isn't as weak as what most people think. And I'm in the strong real estate market that the thing that is holding it back is affordability. If you were to take the interest rates and lower it by a few percent, I think home buyers will come back in. I do not think that supply has squashed demand. That is where crashes come from, a hyper supply phase. I don't think we're in that phase yet. And I think that the stimulus money pushed interest rates to a level that might not have been sustainable under a natural occurring market. I'll just say that. Moo is also moving higher, bouncing off support. That still looks really good. And this trades very much with the overall markets. Copper continues its relentless trend higher, up 1% today. And I have to say, this is surprising because we've had a monster run in copper. Now, look, down, sideways, and then we start moving higher. I don't know the path. I don't know what path this is going to take, but it's moving on higher. It looks fantastic, and we have strong closing today, surprisingly. Even though we had this big wick at the top, I would have thought that we would have had a little bit of a relief consolidation period, but it continues to run higher. Lumber moving sideways. This still looks ultra bullish to me. We have a falling wedge broken to the upside, and we have no selling pressure. That looks to me like it wants to go higher and grind higher in lumber. Iron ore hasn't updated. Nickel up 1%. And I'm going to switch over to the line chart so you guys can see it. Nickel's looking good, moving on higher. That looks quite strong. We've got aluminum down a little bit. Today, down 2%. But aluminum, guys, I think aluminum's going to do crazy stuff. You can see this type of move here where we went from 1,400 all the way to 3,600 in aluminum. I think that's just a warm-up, guys. This here is your wave one. This here is your pullback, and you're going to launch here. And we're going to go to a level that's probably going to be to a land far higher and greater than where we are today. I don't want to get too ultra bullish, but I do think aluminum's got some legs underneath it, and it could get in full stride at any point here. Baltic Dry Index down 8.35%. This is still heading lower. I do think this is going to turn around. We have a falling wedge. Maybe we get a false breakdown and a slingshot cheetah. What happens is people sell this off. It breaks down. People get short down here, and then they reverse it and squeeze everybody and their mom to the hilt. This happened. Let me back out here, guys. This happened last time where we came down. We got here and everybody just got squeezed to oblivion. I think that same scenario is happening. And actually, we're here. Sorry, we're at 02. We're at 02. Sorry, wrong spot. Come down. I think we're going to come back up pretty large like that. But yeah, I think Baltic Dry Index is a good spot to be. It's going to follow oil to some degree. And then we've got Newcastle Coal. There's the breakout. That would have been a buy of a lifetime there to some extent. We are consolidating some. And we're consolidating in perhaps this big old pattern here. And we'll see how this thing plays out. We're watching it. We're watching it together. Ethereum up 5.5%. Keep in mind, I was saying, look, this looks like a bottom here. I even threw some options on some stuff that are starting to work out pretty well. But that's heading higher. Bitcoin is also heading higher. And we're up 5.85%. Is the money flowing back in the markets? Are we doing QE? What's going on? All I can say is things are looking a lot better. That's what I'll say. But that's what I've got for today, guys. And to me, I'm getting pretty dang excited here. Lots of opportunities. I'm still continuing to look at opportunities in the market and assess those opportunities and buy what looks good. We'll talk about that during the Platinum session. Member session tomorrow at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on the Zoom call. with the platinum members. But guys, we're breaking to the upside of this stuff. Uranium's looking pretty good. We've got momentum behind it. Lots of momentum starting to take place here. We're seeing it in Ethereum. We're seeing it in Bitcoin. Those are our liquidity measures. Perhaps they're going to something's going to happen soon. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's happening in the background. People are already positioning in this stuff. There's a lot of cash on the sidelines waiting for a crash. If the crash doesn't come, that all has to FOMO back in. That's fuel for a big move higher. It's always best to be a little bit on the aggressive side when you start to see things turn, because people are probably in disbelief. They still think things are going to go lower. Maybe that's the case, but to me, by looking at these charts, it sure doesn't look like it. So that's what we got for today. It looks real strong. Definitely getting excited. If you like the content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.